Why your soul chose this life. Where 1. A spiritual perspective. So today let's talk about a question that has fascinated spiritual seekers, philosophers, and ordinary people for centuries. Why did your soul choose this life? And yes, I mean choose this life. Now, before we begin, it's important to remember that this idea comes from metaphysical and spiritual traditions. There is no scientific proof that souls plan their lives before birth, but many people find this perspective meaningful because it offers a different way of looking at suffering, relationships, and personal growth. According to many spiritual teachings, we are not simply born into random circumstances. Instead, before incarnating, our souls choose certain experiences, challenges, and opportunities for growth. In other words, the person you are today may not be the entire story. The soul version of you may have had a very different perspective. And from that perspective, this life wasn't a punishment, it was a curriculum. But if that's true, then a difficult question immediately arises. Why would anyone choose struggle? Why would a soul choose heartbreak, rejection, financial difficulties, loneliness, trauma, illness, or loss? It's a fair question, because when you're in pain, the last thing you want to hear is that you somehow signed up for it. But what if that's not exactly how it works? What if the soul doesn't choose suffering itself? What if it chooses opportunities for growth and struggle is sometimes a side effect? Think about learning any skill. You don't choose frustration, you choose to learn. The frustration comes with the process. You don't choose failure, you choose growth. Failure is often one of the teachers. Many spiritual teachers suggest that souls choose themes rather than exact events. A soul might choose lessons involving self-worth, independence, compassion, forgiveness, leadership, creativity, or resilience. The specific experiences that trigger those lessons may unfold in different ways. And according to some spiritual perspectives, not everything that happens was necessarily planned. This is where things become even more interesting. Some people in the spiritual community believe life contains both pre-planned experiences and free will. In other words, there may be a blueprint, but there isn't necessarily a fixed script. Think of it like planning a road trip. You choose the destination. You may even choose major stops along the way. But traffic, weather, detours, and unexpected events can still happen. Some spiritual teachers argue that certain painful events occur because of collective choices, family patterns, societal structures, or simply because human beings have free will. In that view, not every difficult thing is a lesson carefully designed by the universe. Sometimes things happen because systems fail. Sometimes people make harmful choices. Sometimes chaos enters the picture. And perhaps the lesson is not the event itself. Perhaps the lesson is how we respond to it. Now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked. What if you're actually suffering less than you think? That might sound strange, but stay with me. Human beings have an incredible ability to focus on problems. The human brain evolved to identify threats. Thousands of years ago, this helped us survive. Today, that same mechanism often causes us to obsess over things that aren't life-threatening. Notice how many people are stressed. One person is worried about money. Another is worried about relationships. Someone else is worried about aging. Another person worries about their career. Then there are worries about health, appearance, social status, the future, and countless other things. The mind almost always finds something to worry about. And sometimes what we're experiencing isn't actual suffering. It's the anticipation of suffering. It's the fear of what might happen. It's the story we're telling ourselves about the future. Perhaps one of the lessons souls come here to learn is the difference between pain and resistance. Pain may be unavoidable. Resistance often amplifies it. Maybe the goal isn't to eliminate every challenge. Maybe the goal is to discover who we are beneath them. This brings us to another fascinating concept found in many spiritual teachings, the idea of soul contracts. Teachers such as Dolores Cannon, Bashar, and many others have spoken about the possibility that before birth, souls agree to meet certain people during their lifetime. These people may appear as friends, lovers, parents, children, mentors, rivals, or even enemies. Some are often referred to as soulmates, but soulmates aren't always romantic. Sometimes your greatest soulmate is a friend. Sometimes it's a sibling. Sometimes it's a teacher who changes your life, and sometimes it's the person who breaks your heart. Because not everyone enters your life to stay. Some enter your life to transform you. Then there are what many call karmic partners. These are relationships that feel intensely magnetic. Often they bring powerful lessons. They expose wounds. They reveal patterns. They force growth. And while these relationships can be painful, many spiritual traditions suggest they exist because something within us needs to be seen, healed, or understood. Then there is the concept of a soul family, the idea that certain souls incarnate together repeatedly in different roles. Perhaps your best friend was once your parent. Perhaps your sibling was once your child. Perhaps someone you instantly connected with feels familiar because your souls have traveled together before. Again, nobody can prove this, but many people report experiencing an unexplainable sense of recognition when meeting certain individuals, as though they already know them, as though something ancient is being remembered. And maybe that's why some relationships feel effortless, while others feel like a battlefield. Perhaps they're serving different purposes. Now here's the part I find most interesting. If your soul truly chose this life, then maybe your struggles are not evidence that you're failing. Maybe they're evidence that you're participating. Think about it. We often assume that a successful life means avoiding difficulty, but every meaningful story involves challenge. Every hero encounters obstacles. Every transformation requires change. Growth rarely happens inside comfort zones. The strongest parts of who you are often emerge from experiences you never wanted, not because suffering is inherently good, but because human beings are capable of finding meaning within it. And perhaps that is the real lesson. Not that every painful event was destined, not that every struggle was chosen, but that meaning can be created from almost any experience. Whether you believe in soul contracts or not, whether you believe in reincarnation or not, whether you believe life is planned or completely random, there is still one question worth asking. What is this experience trying to teach me? Not because the universe is testing you, not because you deserve suffering, but because reflection turns experience into wisdom. And maybe that's what the soul wanted all along. Not perfection, not a painless journey, but awareness, growth, understanding, and ultimately a deeper remembrance of who you truly are. So perhaps the question isn't, why did my soul choose this life? Perhaps the more important question is, now that I'm here, what am I going to do with it? And that may be the most powerful spiritual lesson of all.